Quickly, in the best interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, the topic for this panel discussion right now is tech evolutions, reshaping the data and the speakers, all of you to come together after all the introductions are done. Chairing this session, ladies and gentlemen, will be a moderator Indranil Basu, Managing Director at Colliers. Mr. Indranil has almost 3 decades of diverse real estate experience in delivering complex and acclaimed projects in India and abroad. He provides leadership and strategic guidance on various aspects of development management across all sorts of asset classes. And to name our speakers in alphabetical order, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today the esteemed presence of Abhishek Kiran Gupta, CEO and co-founder CRE Matrix. Abhishek Kiran Gupta is the co-founder and CEO at CRE Matrix, an index-tap real estate analytics startup offering accurate, real-time, comprehensive and authentic data on offices, residential warehouses across all major Indian cities to developers, brokers, banks, investors, and of course, home buyers. We also have with us today Mr. Govind. He gave a fantastic presentation earlier, co-founder and CEO Insomniacs Digital Private Limited, with more than 10 years of experience in real estate consulting to the leading real estate brands across India. Govindji has specifically focused on helping realtors focus on efficiency and drive better ROI. He has handled more than 280 project launches and has helped brands optimize their media costs by focusing on digital media. We also have with us today Vamsi Bandari, Head of Solutions Architecture Xpedeon. With over 15 years of experience, Vamsi has progressively built his expertise across consulting, project and account management and regional leadership that aligns seamlessly with market needs and client expectations. He also leads the solution architecture team with a focus on aligning technology frameworks with customer objectives, of course. We also have with us today Vishesh Kaul, Chief Information and Digital Officer, Prestige Group. Through his work, Vishesh Kaul provides thought leadership at Prestige and in the industry in general as well. The work led by Vishesh has been awarded at multiple forums for best CX as well as the best technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll request our honorable moderator and speakers to please join me on stage. And jitne bhi log hai yahan pe, please make some noise, taali bajaiye, and make them feel loved, admired, respected, and most importantly, give them the credit that they deserve for taking out time from their busy schedules to be with us over here today. Can I request people over there at the back to please take your seats? We will be having the discussion. I request all of you to please be seated. You don't get all stalwarts like these together under one roof. Everybody has a busy lifestyle. So agar hai yahan pe, it's time to make the most of it. Thank you so much. I hope you all are comfortable, seated. Thank you. And over to you, sir. Thank you. And we also have the timer in display, so I mean you can keep a track on that for the timing. Thank you. Unfortunately, we are running short of time. I wish we had more than 24 hours.
So good evening, everybody. So it's one of the events I think personally I was waiting for, and nothing can actually help the industry more than getting this tech stuff going for the whole industry. The way India is growing, this is something which is necessary, and we have a stellar panel of experts from whom we can try to learn a lot from what they can contribute. So I will, without talking much on this, I will start with first Abhishek on my left. And Abhishek, you are starting to do something very interesting tomorrow. So why don't you give a little insight and also just tell us about what are the technologies and everything which you are thinking of, which is helping us.
Okay, so that's a very large question. I'll talk about the index first, or you want to talk about?
I would want you to talk about the index first, okay, and set the tone for what's the great stuff.
So we're very happy, very proud as an Indian, not only as a CEO of CRE Matrix. Tomorrow, India will create history because we're going to launch India's first commercial grade A office rental index. We are the 5th largest economy in the world, soon to become the 3rd, and we don't have an index, which is pains me as an Indian. So it's going to happen tomorrow. Now, why is it important? Thank you so much. No, we should all be proud. We should all be proud. On a serious note, why is it also important? Because we're doing it with IIM Bangalore, which is again the top 3 probably institutions in the country, if not the world. So very happy about that and proud about that as well. And third, what is an index and why do we need it? We need an index. So 40 years back, we had the Nifty come up. We had the Sensex. They became the benchmark to understand not only how the stock market is moving, but even the economy is moving. Similarly, if you want to compare a Whitefield with a Gurgaon. You want to compare the office market between Kharadi and some Gachibowli in Hyderabad. How do you do that? So the index which gets launched tomorrow will be a live index across 20 years. So we've gone back 20 years. And it will tell you how these markets have moved from a grade A rental perspective. So very useful for investors, very useful for developers, and extremely useful for brokers or channel partners, whatever they're called, who help you make investment decisions. So super, super excited. Great times for India.
So just on the same point, now that you're launching this, so what audience would also be happy to know that how is it going to help the decision-making process of people who are going to
So as
come
I
in?
said, so let's assume like somebody asked me, I'm going to give you a check of 100 crores, okay? And you can only invest in office markets. So the first question is, which office market? How do you decide whether I should invest in Pune versus Bangalore versus Hyderabad versus Gurgaon? So the index will tell you how the appreciation has happened, right? And at least you know on relative basis what has happened in these cities. Of course, it's not a forward-looking index, but it'll give you a very good perspective what's happened in the last 20 years, right? First. And this is just the first index. We're going to launch even a green index. What that means is an index for green buildings. And I'll spill some secret to everybody today, is green buildings charge a premium of at least 15% more than a non-green building.
That's right.
So this is how indices help you benchmark what's happening in the market. Huge benefit for investors.
So really it helps on the people who are investing or people who are coming in non-transparent manner, just go to the index, have a look and get an information.
Imagine a Gora sitting 5,000 miles away. How would he know what's happening in India? How would he compare, okay, maybe he can compare Bangalore, Hyderabad. But how would he compare Gachibowli with Whitefield? He can't. And again, I'll repeat, this data, the base of this index is not a sample-based information. It's live transactions where we exactly know what is the rent everybody in this room is paying for their office.
Yeah, that's something which I asked you actually, yeah. But I think that's important, that it
Very
is not
important, because
not a
it's
sample.
live, scientific-based, 95% of the market we cover.
That's fantastic. So
Thank
that's great. I'll move over to Vamsi. Vamsi has come all the way from Muscat, and I think he takes care. So wonderful to have you, Vamsi, over here. So my question is, like there is an emphasis on tech, there is an emphasis on sustainability. Sustainability is a buzzword. So how is technology evolved on that side to supplement that and support it in our efforts to make the whole thing work better?
So if you see the technology, it's like when we say it's very transformative in advancing the sustainability in construction industry. Especially if I say about greenhouse gas emissions and other things. So what we have done is that, okay, if we have a product also which we launched recently for our UK customers, where it's like, okay, they are able to track how it's like, okay, the carbon emissions of various elements on the project, and they are able to monitor, they are able to make decisions that, okay, from where the material choices, whether it's like, okay, the material is produced using a fossil fuel or renewable fuel, and then what is the carbon emission of that particular project, as well as for the overall company also. So those kind of solutions we have provided, which is helping the organizations to become net zero. And also it's like we have customers in UK and other places, they are targeting beyond net neutral also. Secondly, if you see in the sustainability, where it's like, okay, the technology, if you see modular construction, which is, it's like, okay, a trend now which is making it up to save a lot of on carbon emissions, where it's like, okay, the prefabricated components you can manufacture in the project, in a factory, say other things, and you can assemble it on the construction sites. So these are all the things which are helping it out to manage the sustainability under this.
So thanks for this. Before I go to the next question, which Vishesh, I'll come to you. Just for everybody's knowledge, and I'll open it up for a quick point to all of you, is that from your experience, and you're running around the country, you're in every city, all of you, and seeing how the market is evolving, what are some of the interesting and emerging trends when it comes to tech, which you are feeling is actually going to help us? So What lies on the future, that's vast, and we want to talk about that when I talk to a few of you. But quickly, if I go to all of you, what are some of the emerging trends, if you can just tell the audience what it is? I'll start with you, and we can come this side.
So if you see it out from the morning when all the panelists everywhere, it's only one thing which is coming out from everyone is green building and sustainability. That is the buzz which is there overall. And then it's like, okay, to how we can achieve that particular green building and sustainability is using various ways, where it's like how we can use renewable energies, or it's like how you can conserve the energies for water or electricity or other things, and also how the technologies like smart IoTs and others, which are helping it out to save the energies. So these are all some of the things which are there. And also if you see it out, the BIM, which is it's like, okay, predominantly which is helping it out to identify at the project initiation stage itself for that particular project, what will be the emissions and then how you can manage it out, or how you can, what kind of choices you can make it out.
Yeah. Yes. Vishesh.
Yeah, so I deal with a lot of technology companies, whether it is established tech players or startups. What really fascinates me is the amount of talent which is available across the country and the type of problems which everybody is trying to solve. And, I think most of the real estate players will be aware of these problems in silos. And but there is actual work happening on that, on ground for that, and there are problems which have been solved. It really amazes me, and the biggest of them, there are two impact areas clearly, which I am working very fast to adopt, other than the general prop tech that we talk about. One is this amazing work which is being done in simplifying the data and increase its consumption amongst the real estate players, right? It's easier said than done. I can tell you, the biggest of the houses, they will just go by their gut feel. What does their gut tell? But the amount of work which is happening in this area is amazing. And like, just now we were told about the index as well. I think these are the steps which will make it more inherent, will help in adopting the culture. These are the things that we require in future to standardize the market. The second is definitely the work which is happening in the green tech. Amazing work happening over there, great problems getting solved, problems which possibly a developer is not even thinking about because they are busy in there doing their own stuff, but have a huge impact on the day-to-day lives and society in general. I think that's another area which is really commendable.
That's a good point to know. What do you think, Govind? What are your thoughts?
So I believe most of the things from the morning it has been covered, so I'm not going to repeat those. One of the largest opportunity as well as the challenge that we see at this point of time is the silo issue that Vishesh was talking about. It translates to something much more larger. So on enterprise level, when tomorrow we have to talk about predictive AI to give you predictability around what decisions to make or his data to make a larger sense out of it on my business level. It's very important that all the technologies which are being used at every ecosystem, these technologies should start conversing with each other. And those are the problems which are not being solved currently. So we are betting big on this particular equation specifically, where we believe that when each and every entrepreneur is excited solving one problem at a time, how these problems are interrelated, the interoperability between these softwares, if we are able to put this all together, and as Vishesh was mentioning, getting all this data together, right? And making sense, giving predictability on decision making so that you have larger efficiency, as we were discussing as well in project management, scope that you carry. Tomorrow it is about, do we really need this many people for this particular job? Do we really need to spend this much money for doing any of the outcome that we really need? These are the questions that are going to be shaping the future conversation. And that's the space we are most excited about.
I agree with you on this. It is not about having more and more people. And something we keep on telling, I'm talking about a quick one before I come to you, Abhishek, is that a carpenter's son doesn't want to become a carpenter. He wants to be a software engineer. So we are going to have less of them. So we cannot have more people. We cannot fill it up with people. It is technology which is there, which is going to help us. So, and this collaboration, as you said, getting out of silos, and for large business houses, this is something what you are saying and Vishesh is saying is going to help us. Abhishek, what's your take on the emerging trends?
See, I'm already smiling because both these gentlemen spoke about data, and CRE matrix stands for data. But so I won't harp on what we do. But you know, it's about 7, 8 years back, probably when I was invited to such an event, I was telling that we will create an app wherein you can search for your building, and it will tell you exactly the flat where you stay or your neighbor stays, and it will tell you the unit number, the floor number, the price of that apartment on your phone, right? People laughed at me. They thought I'm drunk. We made this happen. It is live today. You can all download it on your phone. It's called Indexed app. So now today when I tell people that with data and technology, we are actually making another app like Shazam. I don't know how many people know Shazam. If you hold Shazam if you hold Shazam and Lata ji gana ga rahi hain, Shazam will immediately tell you which movie, when was it released, who the actor is, actresses, blah, blah, blah. We are creating a Shazam for real estate, wherein if you hold the phone in front of a building, it will give you the kundli of the building. It will tell you when was it built, who built it, the tenants, the price, the rent, everything. So now, hopefully, people will not laugh because we did what we promised 8 years back, and we will make this happen as well. This is the power of authentic data and technology. And it's coming on an app because your app is your first spouse, right? You sleep with it, you get up with it, you take it everywhere. So yeah, we're very excited to do this.
That's nice. So I'll move a little, one more point on the sustainability because that's something which is going to, and India is very committed on that COP29 and everything which you do. Vishesh, I'll come over to you on this. Now, as a large business house, and when you're working on data, when you're working on everything ultimately comes down to making things happen. So do you feel that there is the policy making when it comes to the government or whatever policy making which happens related to sustainability, it will be able to, are there any challenges on that, or we are talking of certifications from various bodies, USGBC, IGBC, there are companies like WiredScore coming in, they are rating buildings, which is how sustainable they are and everything. But underlying factor is the policy making helping us on doing this, and how can we work on that? What do you feel there is a challenge or something?
I think there is a very clear gap for three stakeholders to sit together and identify that what can be the policy and how it can be executed. And the three stakeholders I am talking about are communities in general, the developers who are servicing those communities, and the government, right, which is coming out with these policies. Now, many of these policies are following an established trend outside, but and some of us, even including us, we have our buildings are green certified now. We are also opting for the certification. But it has to come towards as a common journey, think about the impact that it has on the people on the ground, on the communities, and make them as a partner moving ahead. So while policies are fine, I am a little bit circumspect about whether people will see the benefits of it in the middle term also. I'll not go long term, which may be 50 years, but even in the middle term, from that perspective. At the end of the day, if you look at the Indian market, everybody is looking for cheaper prices, everybody is looking for higher quality, everybody is looking for great living. Now, the builder does its part by promising many of those things, but I still believe that the three are not speaking the same language, and there's a open gap over there which needs to be addressed immediately.
Okay. Three of you, one of my last questions talked about data security, data and mining. So I'll go over to Vamsi to you on this importance of cybersecurity of data. How are you poised on that? Is the Indian market mature enough, you feel, to do that? Or how is tech synergizing with that? Is tech helping us? How more can we help on this? Are we in a very primitive stage? Or are we about there? Can you throw some light on this? Govind, if you want, you can actually also add on that. So,
okay. So if you see on the cyber security and other things, the market, people, everyone are aware of what is cybersecurity and others because of every day you'll be able to see a news in the media like this particular organization or that particular organization has faced a cyber threat and other things. Whereas it's like if you see on the other side, there are organizations which are large enterprises where they have required tools and other things, and then technology people and others to deal with these cybersecurity threats and others. Whereas small and medium scale enterprises, I don't think still they have that kind of infrastructure and other things to deal with these things. They lag in that particular thing. But post-pandemic, if you see, everyone are moving on to digitization is one of the core area, which is everyone, before pandemic, people used to host applications, or people never used to be on digital. Whereas now, even it's like construction and real estate. If you see on the construction side, it is not that digitized compared to other industries which are there. So now that particular sector is also moving on. So I think a lot of emphasis needs to be on how it's like, okay, these data and other things can be secured. Yeah.
Yeah. Govind, your take on that.
So I'll come into my element and I'll mention that the cybersecurity as a conversation with a real estate developer, it happens with 0.0001% of the real estate fraternity. Okay, nobody's really bothered. Do we need to make noise? Do we need to create more awareness around it? Yes, but the unfortunate part is you go to a lot of developers at this point of time, I believe we are a family-driven businesses at the end of the day, right? So their priority is to increase their top line. The leakages are not their problem at this point of time. So the data which are getting churned from one place to another, they are getting distributed to the whole world. A lot many brokers, you go and ask that, do you generate your own leases? And if we don't need it, we get the data, right? Where are they getting the data from? It is the leakages all across. And somewhere or the other, in the journey of us building the top line, we are forgetting if we are improving and we're finishing those leakages, that's where the top line, bottom line, the balance gets in. The cybersecurity as a narrative, yes, one of is it the narrative today? No. Future, yeah, it's very exciting because you just go read about quantum computers to begin with, right? Any banking ecosystem at this point of time, 200 seconds it's going to be getting hacked. What's the lobbies are really doing there? Yeah. So this is a very interesting phenomena where people will have to pay attention. Wherever, so we conducted a series of sessions with the developers. We realized it's largely the big fours currently who are making an awareness around it. And it's a session well attended at the end of the day. But I believe we're still 3-4 years away, or some mega calamity that has to happen with one of the players, then the seriousness will enter. But right now, the conversation is as good as zero.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Go ahead.
So I was smiling while you were very passionately answering this. See, after data, in my opinion, cybersecurity is the only area where you can actually feel the impact of technology, the investments in AI and other related areas, because cybersecurity is all about being ahead of everybody else who's trying to hack your system. At Prestige, we face anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 attacks every month, right? And we are able to successfully ward them off because we have invested in those areas in last few years. And we believe that we are ahead of the game. So
I said 0.001, right?
Yeah.
So, not wrong.
So, important point then, if you have realized the importance, and
Yeah.
that's what makes you one of the top guys, what message do you have here in Reality Plus, we are having the whole South India business is here, and it's a more structured business, I would say. And the country is growing, tier 2 cities are coming up, tier 3 cities are coming up, everyone has to grow big. What message do you have?
I think the message I have for my fraternity is that the future of anybody's business in a consumer-aware world, a customer-aware world, will depend on trust. And if you have a single leakage anywhere, forget cybersecurity, if somebody is picking up in pen drive and sending the data somewhere and it gets leaked all the time. We hear all the stories. The trust is lost. Today's aware consumer is not going to take that. The regulations are getting stricter. DPDP Act is already there. It's hanging on the head. So if anybody is still in two minds whether to think of cybersecurity or not, I think they need to change their mind now.
It's the right time to act now. And
It is now. It is now, yes.
Okay. So that's one good knowledge on the cybersecurity for all of us. So when it comes to all about consumers now, so I will again come back to Abhishek, to you. And you mentioned about the app that you did some time back, and it's a resounding success as of now. So my question is same on this modeling and simulation. So I'm not talking about the app, I'm talking about modeling, simulation. It's a question I could have posed to any of you. And but Abhishek, you're you're riding on adrenaline now, you're launching tomorrow. So I want to put you that's this modeling and simulation, this whole user experience. Do you feel that, this integration of technology that is happening, is it sufficient? Are really the users really benefiting of it, or we have crossed the level of gimmick and it is really helping us? I mean, I can ask this question also to Vishesh, but and Govind, all of you, but go ahead on this.
So we'll step out of the app because the app is B2C,
Yes.
right? But we are actually larger a B2B company, and it took us. I spoke about the index,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we're very happy about it. But it took us 2 years to build it because we went back 20 years. Even before you can think of modeling and any kind of simulation, big heavy words, you need the data first, right? When I take a plate, when you go to a thali restaurant, you see the food, but you need to have the fruits and the vegetables first. So the first thing was to get authentic, correct, comprehensive, accurate data. Once we did that and we had confidence of that, then we went into these beautiful words called modeling and simulation. And it took us, again I'm repeating, 2 years with IIM Bangalore, the entire team, to prepare this index. The point I'm trying to make is that India is a very difficult country. You're talking about each state having different languages. And if I have to convert all of them to English, even Google couldn't do it. And I genuinely mean so. We told Google to convert Abhishek to English. It didn't do it. It probably would have said coronation or some king or something. Right? We have to do phonetic translation. And even Google cannot do it. And we have done it. Now, I'm not trying to show off. Have we completely successfully done it? No. Have we gotten better than and what we used to do 8 years back? Yes. So, ठीक है, सुनने में बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Simulation, modeling, all these are amazing. And we're getting there, right? I'm not going to go into blockchain and all of those things some other day, some other time. But yes, we are in a great space. And I just allow me to say one more thing because I'm a very proud Indian. I was listening to an IMF director's podcast. And he said that we will be a 25 trillion economy the year we complete 100 years of independence. 25 trillion economy by the time we complete 100 years of independence. If we need to reach there, and we will reach there, you cannot imagine the amount of offices, homes, malls, warehouses we would need. And if we don't have right data and the simulation and the modeling and everything else, we will make terrible mistakes. And terrible mistakes will be made by developers, terrible mistakes will be made by investors, and then we will not be a great country to live in. So we're in a great space. We're in a great space. So everybody who's over here will make a lot of money. And you have to do, and you'll have to do a lot of work. So just make sure that your day is not 24 hours, your day is at least 30 hours.
It's fantastic. One question which I had now on Govind, mainly on you, and Vishesh or Vamsi, you can pitch in, is that we have talked a lot on the tech in terms of the tech which we can't see, but the app and the technology really on the things. But there are technology which is coming into the buildings in terms of construction, and everything, right? Be it 3D printing or something. I want to hear from some of you, some of these points from you is about what are some of these technological innovations which has actually caused a real shift in the Indian real estate industry. That Indian real estate industry is today not considered as something lagging behind the Western business. It is at par today, thanks to this technology which has been put in buildings. What are some of those for the crowd which you guys feel is happening? You want to take it first? No? I think, go ahead.
So, to begin with, yes, again, I'm sounding cynical, but that's not the reality. The idea is, we love to throw people at problems in India in technology. Are we very lagging behind? No. A lot many great technology companies who are solving these problems are coming from India and going and solving problems for UK, US, and European countries. Somewhere the adoption is a challenge here, and the mindset and the intent as well to adapt to these things is a problem, because in short term you may not see the value. In long run, you have to have that kind of a mindset. Again, the family business has this issue. And that's where the corporates are needed. Now the technologies, if I have to really lay out, one, the AR application on the BIM model for how you are really, going to construct a certain building. How does it really ensure that tomorrow, imagine a scenario with the BIM models application, a customer goes to his home and he puts the mobile on the wall and he's able to see the wiring behind it and everything that goes inside it, so that tomorrow when they have to do any repair work, they are able to seamlessly
Absolutely.
execute everything together. Now, that's one exciting phenomena, yes. Internationally, it's happening. In India, do we have great adoption of it? Based on my understanding and conversation with the technology guys who are solving these problems, no. But yeah, is it there? Will be there? Of course, there will be a few people who will adapt to it. So that's one place where we are really excited, and I would love to see what happens. The second is EAM, right? Enterprise Asset Management. The way overall smart building as a narrative in terms of the data that you're able to pull out, again, the predictive models that are going to come on top of it to add to the efficiency and the experience part of it as well. A customer really is in control of not just his house. A lot of it is about the facility which are in the society or the gated community that he's part of. Having a proper access, a very transparent understanding of each and everything. Yeah, these are the two things that I would say that I'm very excited about when you talk about the smart buildings narrative as such.
Yeah, I think technology in the construction sector has two facets. One is technology that you can deploy on the ground, 3D printing and IoTs and sensors, and you think what you do with it, you don't know, and the cycle continues like that. And we have also experimented with these sort of technologies. We have observed, we have our learnings, and we are seeing how we can incorporate those learnings in the larger scheme. The second is the enterprise level of technology, which is basically, looking at how we can optimize the whole construction management. He spoke about BIM as a principle, right? And then how do we plug in the financial management, the whole portfolio management with it, and deliver value over there. I am yet to see something like that happening in India, not even an experiment. So in the first case, at least there are some experiments. In the second case, there are a couple of companies who have done bits and pieces of work, but nobody is doing it at scale. And that's something which will be a very good problem to solve in the near future. So I'm very keenly looking at how we can do that for the real estate sector in India.
So in a link to this point, I think he harped on the point of adoption. So as a large business house, you are doing the designing, planning, execution, and the back end of cybersecurity. All the things are there to actually give a strong foundation to it. From your experience, how challenging is adoption, you feel, of these initiatives?
Oh, immensely challenging.
Yeah.
Immensely challenging. As a developer and a person who's running the technology for a developer, I can tell you that there are two major problems we face. One is consultants overselling that AI will do wonders, and then people underwhelmed that, okay, it cannot happen, but I want AI. I think there are a lot of basic problems that need to be fixed first, which have not been focused upon enough. I am going to, in fact, kickstart some exercise in that direction in near future, where we'll focus on solving these basic problems, but they will be with a long-term vision. And like I said, there are lots of prop techs which are doing amazing work, but they're very siloed work. So how do we bring that together and build the whole, fit them in the whole end state vision picture is the problem to be solved, in my opinion, which will take about 3 to 4 years, but it will be a very beautiful picture after that.
I think the story is actually unfolding pretty well, that, if you have to grow, and I think he mentioned that about growth, and I'll come to that also. If the country has to grow, if real estate has to grow, if individual has to grow and make money, as the way you put it, which we all should do, is that if you don't collaborate and break out of silos and bring all the technologies together to give, so that is one of the points which will not help us. We can look at product-based solutions like IoTs and others.
Prestige is 170 million square feet under construction right now. 40 projects. How do we do that if we don't adopt technology? If we don't collaborate with others, it's impossible. We cannot do everything ourselves. We have to move ahead. We have to digitize. We have to bring in new technologies. There is no other way.
Absolutely.
But the question also remains, for a company like Prestige, when they're reaching a scale, they know it's very much given the technology will be the reason. But the idea is the intent. When you reach to a certain stage, before that itself, on the very basic level, you get started to learn the developer level, the owner level intent, so that you are aware that, okay, at this stage, this is needed, so that you can really build that customer experience quotient that you asked for, right? There's so much that customers demand today. I believe somewhere as a developer fraternity, our intent itself is not to give that transparency and that experience to them. Many places, this is the largest gap that we really believe. Customer has made the booking, now let him suffer. Just the way we face it on the other e-commerce platform as well. The transaction is done now, you keep calling, you do things. Why can't it be made more proactive? Because here, the LTV game is very different than what the other sectors really have. With the rising economy, we know the customers are going to re-engage with you. They're going to invest back upon with you. That's the kind of a mindset that's currently missing. And that's the customer experience part led with what he spoke.
You're right, Govind. And that's where I mentioned earlier. It's a very aware customer today. And they will decide whom to go ahead with based on trust. And as transparent as I am with them, they will have better trust with me. They will make me grow. So that's the whole game is all about. And if developers are not investing it today, we saw the first wave of consolidation after COVID. This will be the second wave.
I agree, and this is all about, is it proactive? I think it's all about transparency that you are saying.
Yes,
and the customer is knowledgeable, we cannot take them for granted.
And they have options.
Yes, they have multiple options and they make right choices. We cannot say that they make wrong choices. So we have almost come to the end of the things. I think times are up. So final takeaway from all of you for the customer I'm talking and the audience who is at large over here, what should they consider about adopting technologies? Quick one word from each of you, one sentence from all of you. We talked about cybersecurity, we talked about proactiveness, transparency, and breaking silos, fantastic points which has come out. One word from all of you for the audience.
Who's going to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
You're the first.
Okay, I'm the first. Okay, that's the way it is. So I'm a data guy, so I'm going to say whether you rent an office, buy an office, rent a house, buy a house, do anything which looks, smells, feels like real estate, do not do it without data. And if you do it, then don't come crying to us, right? So that's not only for consumers, that's for everybody who touches real estate, from a broker to a developer to an investor to a banker to whoever. So yeah, that's my word.
Great. So, Govind.
So if you would have asked about developer, I would have said many things, but when asking about customer, I believe I'm going to back my friend, go for the data, because people like Abhishek are making these things so much transparent, so much power into the customer hand now. They can go to the developers and they're saying that, ye to itne mein bika tha. This is the kind of money that this guy bought it for, and why are you selling me more? And not just that, rental. Right? They're not like, now you can go and fight with your landlord. So for the customers, I believe data is the largest superpower. So I'm going to back him.
Vishesh, before you said, because he spoke about rentals, we get love letters from people saying that हमने आपका app देख के landlord से rent कम करवा दिया. My response to that is just make sure the landlord doesn't have the app. But Vishesh.
Okay, so data is the superpower, no doubt about that. But I would not discount the factor of building that relationship with the customer. I think from a developer's point of view, that's absolutely paramount. Take them as a collaborator with you and give them data to help them make better decisions.
Absolutely.
That is the approach that we are adopting. We are making everything transparent. It's on our app. This is your property. Go ahead and enjoy the fruits. So that's the way we want to move ahead.
Vamsi.
So like what Vishesh has said, the customer journey, or it's like how customer feels safe, secure, and then it's like comfortable in doing all the transactions and everything, that makes a difference.
We had quite a collaborative answers towards the end, right? That's the theme of takeaway for today.
That's a theme for takeaway. So just to wrap up now for the audience is that a lot of people think tech is a trend, it's like a fad. So I think it's absolutely not. It's a necessity today. And you mentioned some data, and Colliers have been doing some data. See, 2021, when we were publishing a report, 2021, the real estate market size was around 0.1 trillion. Now that in 2030, which is actually 5 years from now, is going to touch $1 trillion. And that's the growth. And then that is 2030 and 2047, which is 100 years, which is the Bharat Amrit Kal that you're talking. There are a huge amount of data. Somebody used to mention 25 trillion.
And we'll be alive to see it, not a McKinsey report, 50 years.
We'll be alive to see
it. We'll be alive to see it.
So the point is, if you have to do that volume, we have the domestic consumption. We have tier 2 and tier 3 cities where everybody wants to go back developers trying to build, not the tier one big guys like Prestige and others and people. So everybody wants to get into that league. When you have to do that and achieve that 25 trillion, 30 trillion, or whatever our report was, something a little lesser, more conservative, around 10 trillion, but that's huge too. If you have to do that, if you don't have tech and you are thinking of people, people will not be there. So if you don't do tech, you can't sell, you cannot build. That's the whole point you're trying to say.
I'll just give a closing statement. I don't know who said this. I think Jack Welch or somebody. But everybody is in the business of tech. People just don't realize it. Everybody is in the business of tech. Whatever you are doing, if you are not tech heavy, if you are not tech first, there are very high chances that these businesses will close out in next 10 years or 5 years even. That's what we have seen in last 30 years at least.
Wonderful. So that summarizes our session. So is there any time for Q&A?
Unfortunately not, sir.
Okay.
I would have loved to take even 10 questions, but then that's the, reality of the hour over here at Reality Plus. Give them a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure a lot of you over here have questions. So I'll be requesting them you all to please connect with them offline. In the meantime, I'll request Mr. Rohit Kedia, founder and CEO, ArtVI, to please kindly join me over here on stage. To give away the token of appreciations to all of them. Please give it up for Mr. Rohit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you. Can we have the token of appreciations, please? सवाल जवाब का सिलसिला जो है वो तो चलता ही रहता है, वो चलेगा भी, बिकॉज इसके बाद जो अनाउंसमेंट मैं करने वाला हूँ वहाँ पे बहुत सारा कॉन्वर्सेशन होने वाला है. एंड ट्रस्ट मी व्हेन आई से दिस, आई एम नॉट किडिंग. Thank you so much. We'll be doing a group photo with all of you, please. If I may request all of you to please kindly come forward. Over there, ये tables के सामने. Yes. आप भी जाओ, please, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, slowly in the second half, we will be gearing up for the awards. Awards के टाइम पे मैं सबको बोलूँगा बहुत जोर से ताली बजाने, तो उसका थोड़ा glimpses please आप लोग अभी दिखा दो. ये सेशन के यहाँ पे please वो लोग का फोटो लिया जा रहा है. Can you please make some noise and clap everybody over here in Bengaluru? Please show some love. Thank you. Thank you so much.